This is the Offensive Truth with your host, Dads. I've been away for, a good little time, you know, but, I'm back on YouTube with a new video today. And the topic in discussion today that we're going to look into is, does science support the Bible? Yes, that's the topic that we're looking at today. Does science support the Bible? Very big topic, because they've been telling us that the Bible and science does not go together. Well, today I am going to bring it out that the Bible and science does go together, as you can see up on my screen here. And like we know that precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Isaiah 28 verse 10, right? So we're going to establish the matter here with witness, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to take it to Genesis. Yes, we're going to take it to Genesis. So we're going to start at Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to 3. So let's kick it off like a ball right now and see. So we're going to go to Genesis 6, verse 1 to 3. And it reads here. My screen act up a little bit here. We're going to do this over. Let me make sure I fix it right. Man, they're trying to fight me out already. Look at Satan trying to fight us out already. Okay, so it comes. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of earth, and the daughters were born unto them. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of which they chose. And the Lord say, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, and yet these days shall be 100, and yet his days, not this, messing up here, yet his days shall be 120 years. So, this is where science comes in major in the Bible, because we're going to look at verse 3 closely. So we're looking at verse 3. It says here, and the Lord said, even though I don't call him Lord, I'm just reading it as it is. I call him Ahaya. But it says, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So that's telling you, we're going to go now and look at the Blue Letter Bible and look at that verse 3 from a Hebrew perspective and a science perspective and biblical usage. So let's go to the Blue Letter Bible, verse 3. So let's go here. So verse 3, we're in verse 3, and we're looking at spirit, which is 7307. So we're going to click on that spirit there, and we're going to look at the biblical usage on a science and spiritual level. So as you see here, we see pronunciation, the Ruach. So now we're going to go down here, and we're going to look at the usage it could be, right? Scientific. You see here spirit, wind, like how a wind would blow, breathe, like the air. So you know. And for the science people out there who want to throw the Bible out, we have here blast. Anything ring a bell? They talk about Big Bang Theory, right? So that signs right there. And we're going to go down a little more in other usage. Wind, breath, heaven. Right? See that there? So that's just the first signs. So we ain't finished yet. So now that's the Bible, right? So I'm going to go over to my other tab, which is the scientific terminology here that 120 years happen. Your breath leaves your body at 120 years. That means that something take place where the Most High put a limit on us. The scientific term for that would be telomere caps. Yes, a telomere, right? So we're going to look at telomere, and this is what it is. It's right there on the screen. Telomere cap. What the scientists find in 1962, Leonard Hayflick revolutionized cell biology when he developed a telomere therapy known as the Hayflick limit, which places the maximum potential lifespan of humans at 120 years, the time at which too many cells with extremely short telomere can no longer replicate and divide. There you go right there. That's your Bible scientific proof. Main Google search. So that's one. So let's move on to the next witness here, right? The next witness. This time I'm going to just stay in the Bible because this one is more simpler. I had to do the telomere with the science thing to get the point across. So let's go to Genesis 30. So now, Genesis 30. Here people talk about gene therapy, right? Well, the first gene therapy happened in the Bible approximately 5,000 years ago. And they just have artificially perfected gene therapy. Now, so let's go into Genesis chapter 30. I'm going to read from verse 27 to about 37-ish, right? So let's start. It says here, and Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord had blessed me for thy sake. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was a little which thou hast before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. The Lord had blessed thee since my coming, and now when shall I provide for my own house also? And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. So now we see the foundation lay here that something is about to take place, and this is gene therapy. Follow me here. I will pass through all thy flocks today, removing from thence all the speckled and spot cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So see, he's separating the goats, the sheep, the speckle, and all that taking place. So follow this now. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come, for my hire before thy face, everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he goats, and that were ringsled and spotted, and all the she goats, and were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flock. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar. So see here, some sort of herb thing taking place. Go and see it here. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and peel white strikes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. So now you see that he's doing some sort of science thing on a herbal level. Follow this now. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ringsled, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ringsled, and all the brown, and in the flocks of Laban, and of the flocks of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutter, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. See, I ain't going to even go further. You can research the rest. That's gene therapy right there. So that's prove the Bible on a scientific level right there. So we got 2 witnesses here in Genesis chapter 6 verse 1 to 3. We have Genesis chapter 30 verse 30. Start from verse 27 to verse 41. That's your scientific proof. If you have the naysayers want to go against and said, hey, the Bible is not real, you can't prove science with Bible, you can take them to these 2 scripture, and I guarantee you, I don't care how bright that scientist is, he's going to stumble and fumble. I'm going to give you one last chapter, and then I'm going to be out of here, and you can do your research, each one teach one. So watch this now. So we're going to go to Obadiah. This one is just a 1 verse. So we're going to go to Obadiah 1 verse 4. And it reads, Thou shalt exalt thyself as the eagle, and though they set thyself thy nest among the stars, thence will thou I bring thee down, saith the Lord, which the correct name is Ahijah. But I'm just reading it as it is. So we're going to do this now. We're going to look at this in the blue letter. And we're going to see when he talk about nest, where that nest is. And we're going to know that, hey, modern NASA and the space program and CERN is bringing out that right now with the nest among the stars. NASA and CERN. Okay? NASA and CERN. So now, I know some people might not familiar with CERN, but we're going to keep it with the NASA part. You know what I mean? We can do something about CERN. NASA is the simpler one with that. I don't know if that's a real space program, but CERN is for a whole nother thing. But let's go to the blue letter. We're going to see what it's talking. So we're going to click on stars. So let's look at star. And the word for that is kokab, right? What's the common use of kokab biblically? Translation, Strong's, kokab, stargazers, stuff like that, right? Outline biblical uses, star, Messiah, brothers, youth, right? So now we know that it's not here on ground. The nest is somewhere trying to go into another dimension, or in the sky, or in the another planet, if you want to look at it from a NASA level. So when the Obadiah talking about setting nest among the stars, he's not talking those ancient times. He's talking what's gonna happen now. But I'm gonna leave it here for now. Each one teach one the offensive truth. Yes, I'm out. Bless up.